Welcome everyone, I'm Raith.
And I'm Tearith.
This is our review of Cuphead by Studio MDHR. Presenting the story as a book perfectly captures the old cartoon feeling of the mid-1900s.
The story is about two Cupheads who are at a casino and one gets carried away and gambles away their souls. They then have to make a deal with the casino owner to collect runaway debtors' souls in order to gain their freedom.
The characters are actually so charming, it got us more interested in the story. The controls are pretty basic. You can shoot, dash, and jump.
I bet we can make this jump. Wait, hold
It's
on.
not- You can't jump
Hold
that
on.
far.
Hold on.
You can't jump.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you do that?
I'm pro.
That's not possible.
Come on.
This is impossible. Oh!
You did it!
You hit two buttons at the same time?
You can buy upgrades for your characters at the local pig. It has upgrades for your abilities and moves, as well as character upgrades, which can give you an advantage in some of the boss fights that are to follow.
The overworld allows you to roam a bit and choose what to do. You can fight any boss you'd like in no specific order, as long as you beat them all before you advance to the next world. In some areas, you have to defeat a boss or level to gain access to.
Hey, this tree's moving.
It's moving. That means it's a level.
Ah, okay.
World 2 is probably my favorite here because it's like a carnival. So it's like got the rides and it's got all the shops and stuff.
It's pretty neat.
The game can be broken down into 4 different types of stages. The first we're going to talk about are standing bosses. One thing I love is that every boss has multiple stages and every boss feels different and looks different. They're very unique.
The bosses require a lot of dodging and a lot of shooting, and be prepared to see you died. A lot.
Bosses can be beaten in under 3 minutes, which makes the multiple tries a lot less painful. There's a simple and normal mode to each boss. Simple is a lot easier to deal with, though not easy, but if you want to beat the game, you have to do them all on normal. The fights were so fun, we had a hard time trying to come up with any criticism. But if I had to come up with one thing, it would be that the bosses are so unique, but we don't know anything about them.
It would have been nice if the bosses had some kind of backstory to them. The next stage is the run and gun levels. In these, you have to continuously move to the right of the screen while shooting and avoiding multiple enemies and obstacles.
The main purpose of these levels is to collect coins that you use to buy the upgrades. The run and gun mode does not have different difficulties. However, they are not required to beat the story and completely optional.
We did notice in our gameplay that having 2 characters actually makes these a bit harder, as sometimes you get stuck behind things and both characters have to be on the screen at one point in time.
The good news about having 2 players is you can revive each other if you're close by. When their souls floating up, all you have to do is jump and parry them, and that'll bring them back to life with 1 health.
The next kind of stages are the aerial boss fights. These are much the same as the on-foot boss fights, however you have more movement and your abilities do change to coincide with being in the air.
One example of an aerial special is you can turn into a bomb. Once you use the skill, you could just fly into whatever you want and blow up.
One thing that we noticed while playing these is it's kind of hard to focus on just your character when there's so much on the screen.
Especially when there's 2 characters, they got all this stuff flying around, it gets so chaotic.
One thing that helps with these fights is they're all about patterns. So once you've done it once or twice and you failed and you keep going, you'll figure it out and you'll be able to beat the level.
The last type of stage is basically a minigame. You don't get your guns in these stages. The only way to attack the ghosts is to jump and parry them. The goal of the stage is to protect the urn in the center. The ghosts travel straight to it, and if a single ghost gets through, it's game over. Beating these stages rewards you with unique abilities. So that is Cuphead. Tearith, what did you think?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun game to do multiplayer. It's a little hard to keep track of all the things going on the screen. I don't know how many times I looked at red and thought that was me. But I did enjoy it. I think that the simple mode adds a lot of practice time, so you can get a little better at it before you try the normal mode, because some of those bosses are just very difficult.
Yeah, that's very true. Quite a few times we had to just do simple mode to get the moves down separately, because when you go to normal mode, that's when they do all the attacks together, so you have to know how to dodge each individual thing. So that's a good practice. A few things I wish were different would be the parrying. The timing feels really difficult to do, and sometimes I feel like I got robbed of a perfect parry. There's no story on any of the bosses. We mentioned that already. And the replayability is a little lowered for me because it's so stressful to get through these fights. I can't see myself running back to them immediately. The style of art and music in this game makes the experience truly unique and enjoyable. Overall, the game was an absolute joy to play through.
Even with me?
Especially with you.
Okay.
Overall, I think I'd score this an 8 out of 10.
I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. And I think that if you enjoy platformers or bullet hells, then you're going to enjoy this game.
It's definitely a challenge to work through, but it's very rewarding. Definitely give it a go.
Yep.
Thank you for watching Track 2 Gamers.
And look forward to more reviews coming soon.